Here's a principle to live by. It's called don't lick the boots of philosophers. And I bring this up because I have friends and people around me who are becoming obsessed in ways with what some religious philosophers have to say about things, to the extent that they exclude their own rational thinking. They'll become obsessed with people like Thomas Aquinas or Pascal or something like that, and not that their works meant nothing or that they weren't valuable, but these people focus on the works of others, on the thoughts of others, and then accept them wholesale without considering them with their own rational minds. And that's really the huge problem. It's the outsourcing of thinking to some sort of third party. And we're all guilty of this from time to time. But the lesson is that the individual, every individual has to learn to think for himself. I find that it's very common in my friends who are chasing all sorts of fancy degrees, fancy PhDs in theology and things like that, to become obsessed with philosophers as they themselves, as they pursue those degrees, develop, frankly, nothing more but the skill to rationalize any opinion in any position, no matter how ridiculous the position may be. The role of the individual, the responsibility of the man, however, is to actually use his own thinking capabilities. And that sounds simple, but yet why is it that so few people do it? I believe it was Henry Ford who said, "There's no expedient to which men will not go to avoid the labor of thinking." It was either he who said it or Thomas Edison, but both had something to say in a similar manner about people being willing to outsource their thinking, give the responsibility of thought to another individual so that they themselves would not have to think. And that's not the way we should be. And that's not to say we should never get help or never get guidance from people who have thought about things more than we have, but we shouldn't accept what we hear wholesale and not question it and then live our lives blindly by those positions. You know, when the Bible talks about Christ and his teachings, it talks about the people who heard his teachings, they would be astonished at his teaching, that he taught with authority, not like the scribes and Pharisees. And the reason that they said that, the reason the Bible says that about his teaching with authority, is because the scribes and Pharisees so often would do the same things. They would outsource, and in their presentations, in their speeches, they would refer to thinkers before them. They'd refer exclusively to the law. They'd refer to commentaries, inasmuch as they had commentaries in those days. But they would never give, or I should say they would rarely give, their own opinions, their own rational thoughts. But not Christ. He came with well-thought-out principles, and not only that, but they were his own. So also we must model that same behavior and think for ourselves.